Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Steve.
Hey, Mom.
And we just finished playing Roll for the Galaxy, which, as you can see, is basically the dice version of Race for the Galaxy, the original card game. It's very similar, and you'll notice that a lot of the iconography is quite similar, but it all works on a dice mechanic. So you'll start off with some dice in your cup, and you roll them behind the screen here, and then you're trying to allocate these dice to various actions. Now, each round there's only one action that you can choose to definitely do. So I might decide I want to develop, which is the triangle thing here, and so I put that on there. Developing, incidentally, is how you build the triangle tiles here. But then other ones you would have to match underneath. So I'd like to ship, and although I can't pick ship, if someone else picks ship, I will be able to benefit from the fact that they've picked it. Now the stars are wild here, which is great. That means I could also maybe put this here to try and explore. This is how you're going to get more of these tiles. And then this one I could maybe stick under here so that I could put 2 dice on a develop. So just in terms of what the different actions do, if you explore, you can always just, use this to get a bit of cash. At the end of each round, having used your dice, your cup's empty, you're basically spending money. Each coin you spend gets 1 dice back in your cup to roll for next round. So you definitely want to get some money. That's one thing you can do with explore. The other thing is you can draw tiles from the bag. The more dice you put, the more tiles you can draw effectively. So you draw a tile, and each tile is either one of these diamond things, which gives you a special ability, or if you flip it over, it's going to be a world, one of the circle things, and the worlds are the way you get the extra dice. So each time you can see I've built several of these. When you build a new world, you get one of the dice from the pools, and it adds it onto the world. And at the moment, this is the good. There's a couple of things you can do with goods, which I'll talk about in a second. Developing then is, sorry, instantly if I decide to get this, it goes on the board here. And then when you're developing or settling, you're either trying to add dice to here, I need 3 to complete this one, or you're adding dice onto here, you need 3 to complete this one as well. And once you've completed them, so in this case you see I've got 2 for the develop action, that would go on, that makes 3, so I complete it, and then this gets added to my tableau, and that special ability will work for me for the rest of the game, which is nice. Settling is exactly the same, as I say, but for the worlds. Producing is how you're getting the goods on here. So you can see each of these sort of production things are goods potentially on the worlds. And when it comes to shipping, if somebody else had shipped, then I would be able to benefit from that action. And incidentally, after you've sort of decided what you can do, you reveal the screens and then you turn over the appropriate things. So I had chosen I was going to develop, and if somebody else ships, then I would benefit from this. If no one else picks ship though, then this would just go back in my cup and I couldn't use it. But as it is, as long as someone else ships, then I can use this to try and get rid of one of these goods. And there's 2 ways you can do it. Either you sell it for money. There's a little grid up here which shows you the different amounts of money you get for different kinds of goods. So because this is blue, I'd get 3 money there. Or you can try and ship it for victory points effectively, and in this case you're looking for matching colours. So this is going to get me 1 victory point by itself, but because the colour matches here, that would get me an extra victory point, and if the dice I'd used was also the matching colour, that would get me another victory point. So you can get victory points by shipping, but then also at the end of the game you're getting victory points for the number of things you built. So the cost, effectively, you add up the cost for all the different things you built, and you get that many victory points as well. There might be a couple of tiles that give you endgame victory points. So it's points for shipping, which you just track like this, points for buildings, points for endgame tiles, and whoever has the most points wins.
Yeah, I like it. I played it before Race for the Galaxy, and then I played Race for the Galaxy afterwards, and I was floored by people who played it before because they knew what all the cars were, they knew the mechanics, they knew how to do it, and it's got a much steeper learning curve. So for that reason I prefer this game. I like the fact that you can always do one action in turn, and effectively you're spending a lot of the game trying to predict what other people are going to do. If myself and Abom have got loads of stuff on planets, he's definitely going to ship, and he's thinking, he said, Steve's definitely going to ship, and neither of us ship. We've got a stack of dice on our shipping, but if neither of us pick shipping, then we don't get to ship any of it, and we kind of do both ourselves in. So you've kind of predicting what other people are going to do, and whoever can predict that the best does quite well. It is a dice game, but I think there's a fair way around of kind of mitigating your luck. You can kind of spend a dice to reassign a different dice, and you can spend some dice to get money, so you can buy lots more dice next time. If you've got a cup full of dice, you've got more choice on your turn, but if you're only ever rolling 2 or 3 dice, you are stuck in there, and you've just got to kind of play to not get in that position. There are 2 ways to win, either filling up 12 planets or depleting the victory point pile, and every time I play it seems like one of those 2 things happens with a rough even frequency, so I think it's quite balanced.
Okay. Abel?
Yeah, it's an okay game. It's with the right people. It's quick. You know, it's something which you can drag out, play in an hour, including setting it up, putting it away, everything else. That is the only thing I would say can be a downside. If you get people who are a bit slow, it's literally everyone will be stood around going, I'm ready to play, and you're just waiting for someone to still sort out the dice. The other downside would be you can get caught into a real trap where you literally have no money and very few dice. And you need dice to generate the money, and you just literally just roll a few dice and you think, I'll achieve an entry on my turn. So it's got a few swings and roundabouts in terms of how good it is.
Rating?
I'd probably give it a 6.
Okay. Steve?
7 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Race for the Galaxy, and I've played that one a lot. And so when playing this, it does feel very familiar, and I like the way they use the dice. As Steve said, there are a few ways of mitigating the dice, but at the end of the day, it's still a dice game, and you can get done in a bit by the dice. So there was a couple of rounds where I really needed to settle the little circle icon to the dice. I rolled my dice and got none of them. And then the next round, I rolled them again and got none of them. And, you know, you can kind of mitigate it, as Steve says, a little bit, but not as much as I'd like, really. Whereas in Race for the Galaxy, you don't really get that. There's no randomness in terms of whether or not you can choose your actions. You can always choose whatever action you want in Race for the Galaxy. Having said that, I think it's very solid, and some people definitely do prefer this one. Personally, I prefer Race for the Galaxy, but this is a good implementation, I think. I'd be on a 7 out of 10. Alright, thanks for watching. That was Roll for the Galaxy.